studio once again by the wine coach, Laurie Forster. And Laurie is bringing us tips for the new year, resolutions we could stick with when it comes to our vino.
Exactly. And these are all achievable for everyone.
I love it. Love it.
Well, great. Well, the first resolution is think local. And, you know, here growing up on the East Coast, we always think of California and the West Coast as really, you know, owning the wine world. But some of the most exciting things going on in wine are on the East Coast.
Great.
And I actually have a Viognier, which is a wonderful exotic white wine from Tarara Vineyards in Leesburg. They're actually having their 20th year anniversary, so they've been around a while. But this is really fabulous with spicy food because it's very fruity, things like lychee, pear, lime. But also with seafood, I have a crab strudel with roasted corn chowder here, and it's really delicious. This is just, you know, 45-minute drive here from D.C., and there are amazing world-class wines right here.
Take advantage of it.
The next resolution is if you can't pronounce it, then you certainly should be drinking it, because it's those things that are a little weird that we, you know, we're scared of. We tend to shy away. But here I have the Breda Prosecco, and it's a dessert wine, slightly sparkling. It tastes like raspberry sauce with a little fritz, and it is the perfect pairing with chocolate.
Not touching
this
any
is
other
my,
one.
you know, if you're just having one of those nights where you need a little comfort, this is my recipe for that, Prosecco and chocolate.
Yes. This might be a problem, though, so you might want to
I'll leave this for you.
Right. Go ahead.
The next resolution, yeah, she's going to keep it for herself. The next
You want to be with somebody else when you're doing this, because you could really get into a movie and just do this all night.
Exactly. Is if you must drink the same, people are really attached to, say, Chardonnay or Merlot, for instance, then relocate. Drink a Merlot from Washington State, for instance. This is the Mill Brand Merlot from Columbia Valley. And so if you're always doing Napa Valley, try a different area because you get a different flavor, a different personality to it. It's really wonderful, and this is with the swordfish a la niçoise. So it has tomato and olives. It's a meaty fish, so you can do red. You know, don't believe that only white with fish. We can do red, and it's really, really fabulous. So go outside the box a little.
Almost last but not least, I love you say start something new this year. Why not start a wine club? And in your book, The Sipping Point, you talk about it.
Yep, the last chapter is about starting your own wine club because the last resolution is taste more wine. And the more wine you taste, the more you learn. If you have 10 friends, you all bring a bottle of wine. You all get to try 10 wines for the price of one bottle. And it's a fun night. And you learn. Match the weight of the food to the weight of the wine.
Okay.
And what do I mean by...
Yeah, what's the weight of a wine?
Yeah, well, think about it. We all instinctively know fish and salads are lighter foods because we want to eat them in the summer, right?
Right.
And so I've paired that with a light Sauvignon Blanc. And when I say light, I mean the body of the wine. When you take it in your mouth, how does it feel? Light and refreshing or full and heavy?
So are all Sauvignon Blancs light?
Not all, but there are some tips. This is a wine buyer's secret. If you don't know, look at the bottle. The alcohol percentages that are below 12% are in your lighter range.
Okay.
And then 12 to 14 in the medium, and then above 14, those are your full guys.
I'd never heard that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I have our 11% Pinot Blanc from a Maryland winery that's delicious with this light meal. But envision this, 3 glasses, skim milk, whole milk, and heavy cream. Think of how they feel in your mouth. The skim milk is light and refreshing, and then you move on up to the cream where it sits in your mouth. That's what you feel when you feel the body of a wine. So our Cabernet, you're going to feel the weight, whereas the Sauvignon Blanc will be refreshing, and our Chardonnay...
Crisper.
Yeah,
And that's what I think of when you
exactly.
say something light, I think of crisp.
Exactly. And crisp also relates to something that's really important to understand, which is reactions of food and wine. And it's the pucker factor. And you just said it, crisp. It makes you pucker like a lemon.
Right.
Well, when you have foods that have acidity, like our vinaigrette salad or the lemon sauce on our fish, you want a wine that also has that crisp pucker factor. Because the two really balance each other out really, really well. So,
What are you serving with chicken?
well, with the medium weight chicken, I served a medium weight Chardonnay from California. And the rule here, or the reaction here, I also want to talk about is grilled foods. And in the summer, we love to grill. So remember, smoky with oaky. When you have a smoky grilled food, you want a little bit of oakiness or smokiness in your wine. The two things meld together. So the sames really bridge.
Please help me join Laurie Forster for the wine segment that we're doing today, and Laurie is the wine coach, and this is the book. It's called The Sipping Point, and if it comes to wine, you're going to have the answers, right?
Absolutely. Well, you know, the book is meant to be a crash course in wine, the essentials, the practical things. If you're going out to dinner, how do you know what to order with what food? And I thought that would be a really great place to start. Lots of people have to take clients out, or you're out with a big dinner with the boss. You get the wine list, and all of a sudden you're sweating, right? The number one tip I'm going to give you, first of all, when you get that list, because some of them are 50 pages long, you know, is my tactic: stall.
Okay.
I love that.
All right.
So order a sparkling wine, and here I have a Prosecco, and a sparkling wine is nice and light and goes with most appetizers. So it's a really great way to start. That way you have time to enjoy with your table and really take in the list, see what people are ordering, so you can come up with a strategy for your wine.
Okay.
But let's say you figure out everybody's ordering something different. What's, you know, the overriding rule should be match the weight of the food to the weight of the wine. So for instance, light foods like fish and salad, you want to enjoy them with lighter wines. Like I have an Austrian white here called Gruner Veltliner. It's a mouthful
Gruner
to say.
Veltliner.
Gruner
Okay.
Veltliner. And in Europe, they just shorten it to groovy. Who doesn't want to drink a little groovy?
Right.
It's a nice, light, crisp wine. And what I mean by that, it's that pucker factor you might get from a lemon. So you get that little crisp finish. And that's a nice, light, medium weight wine for the fish. The other tip is that when you have that little acidity in your wine, that little sense of citrus, any food that has citrus in it will match up really nicely. The two will tone each other.
I've never heard that tip before.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, go on.
So light food with light wines. And then here we move to a more medium dish. Every menu has a roast chicken on there. I have an Oregon Pinot from Willamette Valley Vineyards. It's a light red. So it's in the medium range, and it goes perfect with the chicken. But you know what? Don't go by all the old rules. Pinot Noir and fish also works very well
we
too.
hear the whites. All right, and last but not least, our red meat.
Well,
pans.
right. When you move up to red wines have something called tannins. It's that little bit of dry finish you get on some big reds like Cabernet. Feels like you have instant cotton mouth.
Yeah.
Well, when you have that in your wine, you want a food with fats in it, because tannins are softened by fats. They actually clean our mouth of the fats, so the next bite is just as juicy as the first.
Wow, now that is great advice.
Yeah, it's part of the recipe of your meal, the wine. It's not just a drink. The first thing I brought is a sparkling Prosecco from Italy. It's the Rusticco, yes, and it's from Veneto, which is just near Venice, like it sounds. Prosecco is the grape, and it's just like champagne in that it's bubbly and dry, but it's a little bit fruitier. So people even that don't drink wine as much really enjoy it. It's more softly sparkling, so it goes with a lot of foods, especially when you're starting out a party. It kind of puts everybody in a festive mood.
Now, what I love that you did is you brought in 3 wines. You say they're all delicious.
They are.
It's a little early to try them out right now, but I'll take your word for it. But they're really affordable.
They are. The Rustico Sparkling is only $16. Everything's under 16 or under, and you don't have to spend a lot. Just find good quality producers that really focus on, and this in Italy, you know, Veneto focuses on sparkling wine, so it's a great place to start.
And you're talking about pairings with pasta this time.
Right, and I love fresh pasta, but pasta is a pretty neutral food, and really the pairing depends on the preparation and the sauce. We have a ravioli, so now we're thinking of a heavier, right, because it's a filled pasta. We have ricotta and spinach in there, and it's in a butter sage sauce. So we want a little bit of a heavier wine. I have a Chardonnay from Sainsbury, so fuller bodied, sort of that heaviness in your mouth you feel, but it's also got a creaminess to the wine that matches with the creaminess of the sauce. So it's a bridge. It really brings it together.
Brings the butter out, if you will.
Yes,
All right.
yes, and even some stemless glasses for your outdoor party that you're having.
Okay.
We have a long fight at our house about stuffing.
Yes,
this is
true.
What kind do you love? And so I'm an oyster stuffing person, traditionalist.
sausage
And the
stuffing.
others, I have stuffing muffins here that my husband makes to make
These are
everybody
great.
happy.
Well, that's a whole other segment about
Right.
how to make these, but those are great. So what do we
But
drink
use
with
a
that?
muffin pan, and the oyster stuffings I have here on this side are great with sparkling wine. And I brought a sparkling Italian Prosecco.
Let
And have a
me just
little
try that.
sip. It's also a great way to start out the meal, and it goes great with soup or really anything on the dinner table. Italian Prosecco's made in Italy near Venice, Veneto. Fruit, nice fruit to it, but then the crisp bubbles cleansing your palate. But
it's not as dry as champagne.
yeah, it's a little bit fruitier, and because
Yeah.
you think we have all these spices, we need fruit in the wine to really offset. But since you're the sausage girl, the sausage muffins, you're gonna love them.
Those big beans.
She's the sausage girl.